Chief Executive Officer, General Managers, obviously our executive staff and those watching on the live stream and those in the gallery here today to adopt Council's budget for 2022-2023. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we meet here today and their elders past, present and emerging. I would also like to acknowledge those Australians who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country and their families. I now invite councillors to declare any conflict or declarable or prescribed conflicts of interest in the budgets to be discussed here today at this meeting. No? I'll now go to the adoption of the budget. I call Councillor Cooper.
Good morning, Mr Mayor, and thank you to everyone who's here this morning and the staff for preparation. The adoption of the budget. 1. Pursuant to section 169, 170 and 205 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council's budget for the 2022-2023 financial year incorporating A. the Statement of Income and Expenditure for the financial year and the next 2 financial years, incorporating 1. the Statement of Estimated Financial Position in brackets operations for the previous financial year. 2. that the total value of the change expressed as a percentage in the rates and utilities charge levied for the financial year compared with the rates and utilities charge levied for the previous financial budget. B. that the Statement of Financial Position for the financial year and the next 2 financial years incorporating 1. the Statement of Estimates Financial Position for the previous financial year. C. the Statement of Cash Flow for the financial year and the next 2 financial years. D. that the Statement of Charges and inequity for the financial year in the next 2 financial years. E. the long-term financial forecast. F. the relevant measures for financial sustainability. G. the estimated activity statement for business activities to which the Council applies full cost pricing principles, including the estimate community service obligations. H. the revenue statement. And I. the revenue policy as tabled be adopted, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Trevor? No? Yeah, Councillor Trevor. Any speakers against? Oh, Councillor Barnes?
I'd like to move an amendment. Basically, the motion is read by Councillor Cooper with the following amendment: that line items in the capital expenditure budget relating to the proposed demolition of the Anzac Pool and the development of the proposed aquatic centre be held in reserve until the next quarterly budget review, scheduled for October 2022.
Thanks, Councillor Barnes. To seek clarification amendment during the budget. Leave.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
So I get a seconder?
Yeah, we'll treat this as a normal amendment in a council meeting. So if the amendment can get a seconder, it then becomes the motion that's then voted on.
Yep.
If it's defeated, you go back to the original motion.
Thanks very much. So seconder is Councillor Honour. Councillor Barnes would like to speak further in relation to, can you just get the actual motion, please? I'll just get a copy to all councillors first.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Hold on, Councillor Barnes. I'll just get a copy to all councillors.
How do you want me to do that? Just email it to them?
Yeah, if you could.
Yeah, sure.
And we'll just read what it is, and I'll get email it to Wendy through the CEO, and then we can all see what your amendment is and,
sure,
and go from there. And we should be able to get it up onto the screen there for you. Is that okay? The matter in relation to demolition of the Anzac Pool was in previous budget.
just going through them.
You could just copy and paste that section, Greg, and email it.
It's gone through to Wendy's computer.
Thanks, Councillor Barnes. Just while we're going through that, are you able to show where it is a line item in the budget? Because we'll be bringing a motion before council.
Well, I've only got it in very small print, Mr. Mayor, and I can hardly read that myself, so I can give you the line item project ID numbers.
Yeah.
So 2328,
Yep.
2331.
Thanks, Councillor Barnes. All right. Councillor, sorry.
Can I ask a question?
Councillor Barnes wants to, is it a clarification of something first? Councillor McPhee, are you happy with that, Councillor?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm always happy, Mr. Mayor, you know.
I'd like myself, yeah. Councillor McPhee.
Just asking Councillor Barnes, you said the line item in relation to the demolition, but that's not for the demolition of...
No, but that incorporates the work to be done in Anzac Park, which would include the demolition of the pool, is my understanding.
No.
We'll just clarify that. Is that all right through the CEO to the staff? Yep. Oh, I think so. Is that there, Phil?
Mr Mayor, that line item that Councillor Barnes has referenced does include demolition as part of the redevelopment of the park.
No, thank you. Is that Councillor McPhee?
Yep, thank you.
That? Yep.
Thanks for that.
That's all right. Councillor Barnes, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, councillors, I guess my concerns are this. I can't find a resolution of this council to demolish the Anzac pool. I've been back through the last couple of years, and unless I've missed it, I cannot see a formal resolution where this council has voted on the demolition of the Anzac pool. Now, we know it's a controversial matter, and I don't mean to drag it out, but I do think that we need to re-examine it. I think that 3 months would give us that opportunity, and also to see whether or not the procedure with the aquatic centre is a champagne taste on a beer budget. I understand that there are increases in the revenue side of the budget, but I think that we have to also look at some of the new capital expenditure, which is, I guess you could call discretionary. I don't want to hold the council back. I know we want to move forward and we want to provide the best things we can for the community. But we seem to have so many of these projects that come before council, including the CBD redevelopment, that never seem to get the legs. I'd like us to do a bit more work on this, to rethink our position on it, and then go back to the community and get their feedback.
Thanks, Councillor Barnes. Any other councillors have any queries or speak against the motion? Oh, sorry, Councillor Haberman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So, Councillor Haberman, it's to speak against the motion.
It was a question.
I'll speak against the amendment.
It's a question.
It's a question for Councillor Barnes. I'm happy. Yeah, go ahead. I was just.
My question was, if that those line items remained in the budget, does that necessarily mean that the demolition would proceed, or is it possible for that decision to be reviewed if that remains in the budget?
go for clarification. Yeah, through you, Mr. CEO.
Mr Mayor, given that it's a line item in the budget, that is council providing funding for the demolition.
Thanks, Councillor.
That's all it's doing, providing funding for the demolition.
Yeah.
So, sorry, just clarifying. So that doesn't necessarily mean that demolition would proceed. It's just providing funding in the event of demolition proceeding.
Correct.
Thank you.
That's it. So, yeah, so that's there. I've got Councillor Bartels, and then did you want to finish it? Yes, Councillor Bartels. Yeah.
Are we going to have the opportunity to speak for the budget, or?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I can use my
I'll suspend standing orders after.
argument for the budget against this.
Yes.
If you won't, I would like to speak for the
Yeah,
budget.
yeah, straight after we finish with. So, Councillor Barnes, in relation to the amendment and the query, only because the query is put forward by Councillor Haberman, otherwise we go straight to the vote.
Yeah, I just rise on a point of clarification.
Yes, Councillor.
That I'm not saying that these line items be scrapped. What I'm saying is that they be held in reserve. In other words, that they don't be, that we don't draw down funds on them, that we don't expend those funds. However, they can still stay in the budget as line items and to be reviewed at the next budget quarterly review.
Thanks, Councillor Barnes.
And I'll just clarify, Mr Mayor, that the only way that the intent of that amendment can be read is that you are removing those line items until you do your first quarterly review. That's what held in reserve means. You're adopting a budget without those
Afterwards.
line items, but you may well put them back in the next quarterly review.
It means that they have to be withdrawn, yeah. Okay, I'll now put the matter to the vote for the amendment first, and then we'll go back to Councillor Cooper's. So those all in favour for Councillor Barnes' amendment is Councillor Honour and Councillor Barnes. Those against? The matter is voted against. I'll now go back to the substantive motion put forward for the budget, and we had a mover, we had a seconder. I'll now put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So noted. Councillor Barnes. And now, I now move that the standing orders, as Councillor Bartels alluded to, be suspended to allow any members of the council who wish to make comment on the budget to do so. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder, Councillor Bartel. I'll now put that to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. So I'll now put it to the floor. Any Councillor Bartel? It's only those councillors wishing to speak. Yeah. Thanks, Councillor Bartel.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to take the opportunity to speak for the budget. The 2022-2023 budget has been one of the toughest ever to put together. And it's taken many months of negotiations, arguing and compromise to arrive at what I believe is a very fair and progressive budget for the entire region. Federal and state funding ever declining, and those levels of government buck passing on their responsibilities and expecting council to provide nearly everything our community wants and needs on the breadcrumbs that they sparingly and strategically throw our way, which then means we have to always find the bulk of the remaining funding for projects for essential infrastructure for our region. This budget has done that. It delivers many legacy projects and much needed essential intergenerational infrastructure across the region. With a total capital spend of $122.25 million, no one has missed out. From major new developments and new infrastructure like the new Aquatic Centre, the Anzac Park redevelopment and the Moore Park Beach Master Plan, to various smaller projects like off-leash dog parks, upgraded new park facilities, shade shelters, better roads, better water and sewage infrastructure, etc., etc., etc. There is something for everyone. Yes, there has been a rate increase of 3.9%. Council, just like everyone else, our costs are also increasing, and everything comes at a cost. We have to manage to keep the increase minimal and as low as possible. And we have done that. It is way below CPI, while ensuring that all services are maintained and new developments continue to be rolled out across the region to continue to improve the livability and lifestyles of our residents. I commend our staff for the time and effort they've put into assisting councillors with putting this budget together, and I thank my fellow councillors for their contributions to this historic legacy building infrastructure-led budget, which I believe will be a game changer for the Bundaberg region and which put our region on a path of growth and prosperity. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Barnes. Any other councillors? Oh, sorry, Councillor Bartels. And yeah, who have we got? Councillor Honour or Councillor Barnes? Simultaneous raise of arms, whichever wants to go first.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm not going to
Thanks,
regurgitate the previous discussion, but I'm very much of the mind to accept the representations made by many members of the community over the Anzac Pool. I believe that by diverting demolition costs to enhancement costs, we could actually bring that pool up to a better standard and make it a feature of the redeveloped Anzac Park. I don't believe that there is a need to demolish it, and I don't believe it's a do or die situation that we have an aquatic centre straight away. Yes, I am concerned about deferring projects time and time again, but this one here, the costs given to me have escalated dramatically over the last 6 months. And I think other councillors would also acknowledge that. I don't know whether, Mr CEO, what the current expenditure is, the total expenditure for the...
Yeah, through the... Yeah,
for the aquatic centre.
Have you got a question?
Oh, you say current expenditure?
Hold on.
Sorry, the current
Good question.
estimate, sorry, of the aquatic centre, the final estimate.
Can I answer that, Mr.
Yes. Yeah.
Councillor, you'll be
It
fully
might,
aware...
it might be subject to...
excuse
No,
me.
no, sorry,
Asked
Councillor.
a question. You'll be fully aware that the tender evaluation is currently underway.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
No, you're not saying that.
No, well,
You're asking me to
I'm
reveal-
acknowledging that.
You're asking me to reveal what that information is.
No.
Tender evaluation's underway.
That's not what I asked was, is it possible for you to give us that information, or is it commercial in confidence due to the tendering process?
Councillor, you are fully aware it's commercial in confidence until
Thank you.
council considers that information, which it will at a special meeting.
Thank you.
Councillor Barnes, anything else in relation to the budget? No. Councillor Honour.
Yes, Mr Mayor. I just want to say that this has been the toughest year's budget that I've ever been involved with in my career as a councillor. We've had all the conflicts in relation to COVID. We've had a massive change in world situation, and the costs to our Commonwealth Government have been extremely great. We've had a loss of $54 million over the next 10 years in our federal grants. That is affecting us immensely. We are now carrying the weight of all the needs of our community without that assistance. And we have record high fuel costs that are affecting everybody out there in the community, and there's lots of people in financial difficulties with interest rates rising, CPI rising, and we have to commiserate with that. But we also have to keep the council operating. We have to keep staff employed to do the maintenance. We have to see that the long-term benefits of a growing metropolis of Bundaberg is kept operating, as well as the outside areas, that their roads are maintained, their waste services are continued, and all the services are spread equitably across our area. I would like to make mention that there's been a lot of deliberation over many weeks, and I'm concerned about the agricultural rates, seeing as that 2 terms ago they had a massive rise of anything above 100% to almost 200%, and that's hurt them badly. And we've tried, and I've certainly tried, to keep their rate, their rise in rates down to a minimum, and that's been set at 2.5%. Is that correct, Mr. CEO?
Through you, the Chair, I'll just get the CEO to check with the finance, but
Yes.
as far as what I believe, it was set in that 2% range. But just for clarification,
Thank you, Mr Mayor. For the agricultural category, the percentage increase is 2.83%.
Yes.
okay,
This
Councillor
is
Honour?
this is
Honour, is that all right? 2.83.
and 2.5 for the minimum general rate. Is that correct?
I'll check with you, Mr. For clarification.
It's here on the.
I think it's in the paper in front of you.
Yeah. Yes.
Is
Look,
is that all right, Councillor Honour?
In the
Yes.
agricultural sector.
In agriculture.
I haven't got the actual figure that the CEO quotes on the general rate for rise, but if that's what it is, that's what it is. But I certainly battled to try and keep it down to a zero rise. I didn't get supported on that. I know there was other councillors that was concerned, including you, Mr Mayor. We did our best to try and work out a fair system for everyone across the region, and this is what it's come to. I feel for everybody that's out there that's struggling, but we have to set a rate to keep our council area operating. And I think that this, at the end of the day, is the best that we can do. But I don't fully agree with it all, but we do have to have a rate to continue on with and operate on behalf of everybody in the region. So, thank you, Mr Mayor.
No, thank you, Councillor Honour. Points are well made. Any other councillors wish to speak or make comment in relation to the budget statement? Yet through you, Councillor Cooper.
I just wanted to thank Councillor Bartels for his views and Councillor Honour's views, specifically because of the hard work that our team put into preparing the budget. It's been a mammoth task.
It has been.
As said by both the time and the consultation that's taken place in this budget is more than any I've ever been involved in before, and to that end, our team gone away, come back, gone away, come back, gone away, come back. It's been amazing to get it to where we are now, and to keep the budget at the levels we have. Inflation now at 6%, going upwards towards 7 at the moment, and where it stops we don't know. So to that I speak very highly of our team, and thank Councillor Bartels and Councillor Honour.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillors wish to make comment on the budget statement? Do so. No? Okay. I'll now obviously be able to resume the standing orders. So I move that the standing orders be resumed. Can I have a seconder, please? The second is Councillor McPhee. I'll now put that matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? No. So moved. Next item is item 2. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Item 2 is the differential general rate. A, pursuant to section 81 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the categories into which rateable land is categorised, the description of those categories are pursuant to section 81 in brackets 4 and 81 in brackets 5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012. The method by which land is to be identified and included in the appropriate categories is as included in the papers on the screen. B, the council delegates delegate to the Chief Executive Officer the power pursuant to section 257 of the Local Government Act 2009 and section 81.4 and 81.5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to identify the different rating categories to which each parcel of rateable land is included by using the relevant land information from Council's land record and any other information which identifies to use of rateable land. C, pursuant to section 94 of the Local Government Act 2009 and section 80 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the differential general rate to be made and levied for each differential general rate category, and pursuant to section 77 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the minimum general rate to be made and levied for each differential general rate category as per the budget papers.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? The seconder is Councillor Haberman. Any speakers against? No. I'll put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? Councillor Trevor, so noted. The matter is moved. Item 3, separate charge. Call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you once again, Mr Mayor. 3 separate charges pursuant to Section 94 of the Local Government Act 2009 and Section 103 of the Local Government Regulation 2012. Council makes a levy and separate charge to be known as the Community Wellbeing and Environmental Charge in the sum of $100 per assessment, to be levied equally on all land in the region as set out in the revenue statement for the purpose of funding initiatives that ensure public safety, enhance natural areas and promote community wellbeing.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder is Councillor McLaughlin. Any speakers against? No. I'll put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? No. So moved. No, everyone was for. Yeah. The water utility charges, I call item 4, call Councillor Cooper.
Yes, pursuant to Section 94 of the Local Government Act 2009 and Section 99 and 101 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council make and levy a water utility charge for the supply of water services by Council as follows. 1. Water access charges as detailed in the papers. 2. Water consumption charge. 1. Charges per kilolitre, first tier 123 per kilolitre for the first 150 kilolitres of consumption per half year. Second tier 202 per kilolitre for each kilolitre consumption above 150 kilolitres per half year. 2. Charges per kilolitre for the Burnett Downs Yard water supply, reticulation group or services area, Sylvan Woods non-portable supply, first tier 99 cents per kilolitre for the first 150 kilolitres of consumption per half year, second tier 162 per kilolitre for each kilolitre of consumption above 150 kilolitres per year. B, that the application of the above levies water charges be in accordance with the further detail provided in Council's revenue statement as contained in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder was Councillor Bartels. I'll now, any speakers against? No. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is item 5 in relation to sewage utility charges. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. A, pursuant to Section 94 of the Local Government Act 2009 and Section 99 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council make and levy sewage utility charges for the supply of sewage services by Council as follows. Sewage charge of $822. B, that the application of the above levied sewage charge be in accordance with the further details provided in Council's revenue statement as contained in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder, second is Councillor Learmont. Any speakers against the motion? No. I'll put to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? No. So moved. Next item is item 6. It's a trade waste utility charges. I call Councillor Cooper to move.
Yep, thank you, Mr Mayor. Trade waste utility charges A, pursuant to Section 94 of the Local Government Act 2009 and Section 99 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council make a levy trade waste utility charge for the control and management of trade waste by Council as per the papers. B, the application of the above levy trade waste charges be in accordance with the further detail provided in Council's revenue statement as contained in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Second is Councillor McPhee. Any speakers against? No. I'll put to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? No. So moved. Next item is item 7, waste management utility charges. I call Councillor Cooper.
Yeah, item 7 relates to A, pursuant to section 94 of the Local Government Act 2009 and section 99 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council make a levy waste management utility charge for the supply of waste management services by Council as documented.
Cooper, I'll just get to you to reiterate the actual moving of Part A and Part B of Section 7.
Sorry, I must have copied that over without Part B.
No, that's
Sorry.
all right, yeah.
I'll just go back to my other notes. I'll take Part B off there if I can see it.
Yep.
Yep, that the application of the above levy waste management charge be in accordance with the further detail provided in Council's revenue statement continued in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan.
Thanks, Councillor
Sorry, I
Cooper.
missed that bit, sir.
I'll just check through the CEO through to Christine. Is there anything else in there that we have to keep an eye on as far as the exact motion moved? You're happy with the detail? Or did you want to just go through it all again, I just think? Just for clarity, Councillor Cooper. Sorry about that.
So, Part A and Part B?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think just for clarity for the...
Pursuant to it is number 7. Pursuant to section 94 of the Local Government Act 2009 and section 99 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council make a levy waste management utility charge for the supply of waste management services by Council as documented, and B, the application of the above levy waste management charges be in accordance with the further detail provided in the Council's revenue statement contained in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper, especially for your perseverance. He's seconded. He's obviously Councillor McLaughlin. Any speakers against? No. All those for? Yep. Matter is so moved. Next item of business is item 8, levy and payment. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Pursuant to section 107 of the Local Government Act Regulation 2012 and section 114 of the Fire and Emergency Services Act 1990, Council rates and charges and state government emergency management fire and rescue levy be levied for the half year from the 1st of July 2022 to the 31st of December 22 in July, and also in July, August 2022, and for the half year 1 January 2023 to 30 June 2023 in February and March 2023. B, pursuant to section 118 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the Council rates and charges and state government emergency management fire and rescue levy be paid within 35 days of the date of issue of the rates notice.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? The seconder is Councillor Honour. Any speakers against? No. I'll put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is item 9. In relation to interest, I call Councillor Cooper.
Yes, in relation to interest pursuant to section 133 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, compound interest be on a daily rest at the rate of 8.17 per annum will be charged for the financial year 1 July 2022 to 30th of June 2023 on all overdue rates or charges calculated on a daily rest as from the 7th day following the due date stated on the rates notice.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? The seconder is Councillor Mitchell. Any other councillors wish to speak against the motion? No. I'll put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? No. So moved. Next item, item 10, in relation to rates concessions. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you. Roads concessions, pursuant to section 122 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council grants concession to pensioners, all rural fire brigades and other ratepayers as set out in the revenue statement contained in the 2022-23 budget and operational plan as follows. A. Pensioners rebate of up to $165 per annum, in brackets $82.50 per half year levy, on rates and charges for the approved pensioners. B. A rural fire brigade full rebate for all interest and charges. C. Bundaberg, Elliott Heads and Moore Park Surf Life Saving Club are full rebate on all rates and charges with the exception of water consumption. D. That other ratepayers are rebate of $1,700 per annum, excluding water consumption, as set out in the revenue statement contained in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan.
Yeah, just before moving that, Councillor Cooper, I'll just get you to reiterate Part B of in relation.
All rural fire brigade full rebate for all rates and charges.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Seconded is Councillor Bartels. Any speakers against? No. All those for? Those against? So moved. Next item is item 11, debt policy. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The debt policy pursuant to section 192 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, debt policy as contained in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan be adopted.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? The seconder is Councillor Learmonth. Any speakers against? And put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is item 12, investment policy.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Pursuant to section 191 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, investment policy as contained in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan be adopted.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Second is Councillor McPhee. Any speakers against? Put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. And item 13, Code of Competitive Conduct.
Yes, A. In accordance with section 47 in bracket 7 of the Local Government Regulation Act 2009, Council resolved to apply the Code of Competitive Conduct to the following business activities. 1. The Bundaberg Airport and 2. The Council Holiday Parks. B. In accordance with section 47(8) of the Local Government Act 2009, Council resolved not to apply the Code of Competitive Conduct to 1. Its roads activities, as it does not construct or maintain roads under competitive tender, nor does it undertake activities on a commercial basis or in competition with private sector, and 2. Its building certification activities, as it does not undertake activities within the meaning of the section 10 of the Building Act 1975 on a commercial basis or in competition with the private sector.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? A seconder is Councillor McLaughlin. Any speakers against? No. I'll now put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is item 14 in relation to the operational plan. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Pursuant to section 104 of the Local Government Act 2009 and section 174 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the 2022-2023 operational plan as contained in the 2022-2023 budget and operational plan be adopted.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder is Councillor Trevor. Any speakers against? No. Put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? No. So moved. Next item is item 15. It's incorporation of documents. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The incorporation of documents, that the documents referred to in any part of this meeting resolution is incorporated by reference as in the document. The the document had been included in full.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? A seconder is Councillor Honour. Any speakers against? No. I'll map the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So move unanimously. So this brings to conclusion the business of today's meeting. I just want to thank everybody for their involvement. I want to thank all of the staff here at Bundaberg Regional Council, as well as all the other parts of the community that have been involved in bringing this budget to its adoption here today. I particularly want to thank everybody across the community. We are in exceptional times in relation to livability and lifestyle, and as well as the cost of living pressures across everybody. I take on board the below percentage rate in comparison to the other rates that are floating around and the rest of the community has to combat with in their day-to-day lives. And Council, while bringing down this budget, obviously it's an active budget and we will do whatever we can in the future because it's a working document to continue to look at cost of living pressures as we try to bring our community, as does every other community around Australia, into a better way of livability and lifestyle. So thank you very much. I now declare close and declare that the meeting is closed at what time, Wendy? 9:44, and thank you for your attendance here today. Thank you, everybody.